You're listening to the Culture Junkie podcast, where we go beyond the surface of pop culture.
I'm Keith.
And I'm Zandra. Together, we dive into the craft process and passion that drive today's creators. This is the Culture Junkie podcast.
Okay, so today, and I'm going to echo, I would like to talk about my instrument, which is the steel pan. And here we go. We have our steel pan, which is a very important historical instrument. It is the most modern instrument that is created. It was created in 1938 in Trinidad. And the steel pan came out of a resistance movement from former Afro-Trinidadian slaves. And while they were under British occupation, the British had banned any playing of drums or anything that symbolized a resistance against their colonization and the brutality that they encountered. So what they started doing is when their African drums were confiscated, they tried to find new ways to make an instrument. And thus we have the steel pan, and it's made out of an oil drum. And if I turn it this way without dropping it, you can see we have a hollowed out body, and the inside is concave. And this used to be flat. And what they do is they lay out all the different panels on a flat piece. Well, first they sink the drum. So this is flat, and for 2, 3, 4 hours, they hammer gently to make this concave. Once they do that, they have a template and they put the notes on, and then they hammer out the notes. And it's a very interesting instrument because it came out of just hitting paint cans and other metal objects. And they used this as defiance to British slavery, colonialism, and everything the Caribbean people, us island people know. But this also became Trinidad's national instrument. It was created, the science, by Winston Simon and Dr. Ali Manette. And they perfected the science behind it, because the science behind creating these notes and frequencies and resonance is actually really, really cool. So I played steel pan, not a lot, in Guyana. When I was a kid, I used to visit my dad. My dad was there for work. And then I started a steel pan program at my school. And got a bunch of pans, and my school program is Caribbean based on the steel pan. So what we have here is a soprano pan. So how it works is the steel pan works like an orchestra. You have your soprano, your tenors, your altos, and your bass. I couldn't bring all of those to practice with because those are really big drums. The bass drums are like the size of oil drums. The interesting thing about that is there's still oil in my bass drums. When you tune the bass drums, you gotta flip them over and go inside and hammer from the back. And yeah, I come out with oil on my arms, or the tuner comes out with oil on his arms. Sometimes I'm smaller than the tuner, so they put me in the drum and tell me what to do. Yeah, so basically, the very interesting thing about this drum, or all soprano pans, is that when I go clockwise, it's in a circle of fourths or fifths. Circle of fifths going one way, circle of fifths, and then the other way is fourths. So that's the universal accepted circle of fifths, right? And then you have your lower notes. So lower notes, I guess I should do C, are down here, and just above it are the octaves. And so that's how it works. And here we have mallets, if for those of you who've never played, and they're coated with rubber. Steel pans are very expensive because it takes about, I don't know, 180 and 200 hours to make one pan. So this guy right here, my Staccato pan, made by Pan Master Extraordinaire Tommy Critchlow, his name is on the side too, cost $1,200. So for any educators and from the educator lens, educators in music who want to get a steel pan band, you have to have money. And this is where I'm constantly fighting. I live in an impoverished area where there's not a lot of money. But the areas that have a lot of money are devoid of Caribbean people. So I'm constantly campaigning about putting money into Caribbean areas so we can have our own music. Because currently, the steel pan bands that are running in Toronto that are getting a lot of money have no Caribbean kids in them. That might seem really political, but I just don't think it's fair that we people don't get the benefit of it. How did I get $20,000? I applied for a music counts grant and they liked what I wanted to do and gave me $20,000 to buy a steel pan set. So I have like a whole orchestra ready to go. I have 5 bands and I have an all-star band, and we've done presentations at the Rose. Now, I love the sound of the steel pan because you can play so many things. You can play Caribbean music, so I'll try we also play modern songs. Yeah. So there's lots of different ways to play. You can play one mallet per hand. Masters often have 4 mallets because it's fifth, right? You can get your chords. I can do that just to get my triads. But I'm not a master. I still have to do it. You can play classical music. It's just such a beautiful resonant sound that I absolutely love. And when you have a whole band together, it really comes together. And steel pan is accessible for everybody because the notes. I write the notes. You don't have to. Masters don't. But the way that Caribbean notation is written is very different and accessible to people who aren't classically trained. Pop songs, jazz songs, it all works. So a little bit about my steel pan. That's the back, the front, and there's also 2 octaves, right? So where's my note? So they're your octaves, right? My middle one is out of tune. Tuning is a whole thing. It's $1,000 and $1,200 to tune my set. So again, if you're going to go into steel pans, understand that the maintenance is very expensive. To tune one note is $150, right? I get a discount because I do a lot of stuff for free for the community. But if you're not, you just want to tune your pan. Finding pan tuners is really hard. Please make sure you know when Carnival is happening in Trinidad because you won't find a tuner for months. Yeah, so a little bit about my instrument that I really, really, really love. And I really feel connected when I play any of my Caribbean music with my Caribbean kids because it really kind of feels, this music is in our DNA. Okay, there you have it. A little bit about the steel pan.